Alright, Joe here, airbrushing ferret. I just wanted to download a quick video. I think I did this a while ago. I well, I downloaded a lot of videos, and YouTube said, okay, now you can download videos longer than 15 minutes. Because I don't know how to do a painting in 15 minutes unless I do a speed painting. And I hate painting on camera anyway. So I just wanted to explain what I do and how I do it, and then you guys, whoever is learning how to airbrush, can probably follow in the footsteps or do your own version. Alright, I have my black and white Maryland, and I started. I don't like how the hair came out, and yeah, I can redo that anytime. It's just a black and white. And I have this painting that I did right here. You know, this webcam is cheap. It's very deceiving. I could put this off as the photo if I wanted to at a distance, but it has its flaws. I should have used the scratch technique in the lips. I could still probably put more texture into the lips. But I think that one's just about done. I have another one of these up on my shelf that I did. There's her eye. I actually went to Staples and I blew up her eye. So this is the painting. And then that's another painting of that same eye. These are both paintings. I don't like how these eyelashes came out. That's when I first got the Micron, and I didn't really realize that there's a learning curve. There is. You gotta get used to new airbrush. I have 3 decent airbrushes now, and each one of them behaves slightly different than the other one. So this is basically, maybe I'll show you with this painting. This is a photograph. It's a print that I got from Staples. And I don't know if you want to call it cheating or what, but this is what it looks like after I do my portrait. All I do basically is I'll start off with something like this, but a black and white, and I frame off my canvas so the canvas looks like a photograph after it's done. You know, you mask off the edges, and then I cut off around the face. I just use this as this is just a template. I go over everything with a light tone of flesh, like the nose. I don't like stenciled look. I don't like the stenciled look, and unless you do freehand, it's gonna look stenciled. And I did my very first airbrush portrait, which is around here somewhere. I stenciled just about the whole thing, and it looked stenciled. It came out kind of horrible. So what I just do is I basically just cut like around the nose, where the lips are gonna go. And I'll just like shoot a very, very light coat of flesh over the lips, and I'll do, you know, my highlights. I'll work all my areas around the cheekbones, around the nose, all the dark areas. I'll work with my first coat of flesh, or my first layer, and then I'll just cut out around the nose just to lightly peel back, just to hit it with a very, very light coat of flesh tone. Just enough to see where it actually is. And then the eyes, I kind of tend to have the eyes all cut out, because what I do is I'll just use carbon paper just to trace out where the retina is actually going to go, so my painting doesn't come out looking cross-eyed. And I know where like the shadow for the crease of the eye is going to go, and of course maybe shade where the nostrils go. Then this way it doesn't come out lopsided, or it actually comes out looking like the person that I'm painting. And then after all that's done, the picture goes bye-bye, and you do the whole painting freehand. you can see with this particular portrait, let me see, there's not like a sharp line between the face and the background. You could see that little bit of overspray, so that'll show that I didn't leave the picture on for too long. Another thing with the portraits is you kind of want to keep some paint left over from your first coat if you're mixing up your own custom colors, in case if you have to repair a spot. This one came out pretty nice. I'm going to hold on to this one with you. I think that, yeah, I did these hair strands with the Micron when I first got it, so they actually do look like hair. I did manage to get one of these, well, because I saw a video with Marissa in it, and she was using one. It's a big shield. I don't know if that's the one she was using, but it's a freehand template. When you're doing a portrait like this one, you can hold it up and just hit your darker shadows when you're doing the hair. So I'll try to use this tonight. I also was experimenting around with it, just making weird shapes. I guess it's pretty cool if you want to do stuff. Maybe you get see in a little practice panel behind here. Sorry, I think I got my brightness is up too much. I'll put this off to the side. You see, I'm only at 6 minutes. Let me see if I could change this without goofing up. Okay, now you can see the background. I was just messing around with the shield up here. I was going to do some kind of weird cartoon-like picture. Okay, back to this portrait. So this is why I use the templates. I'm going to probably try to work on this one tonight, because I like how this one's coming out. It actually does almost look like a photograph. So that's... I'll give you a quick example of why I do this. You see where I did her teeth? They look a little bit too yellow. I didn't really shade them right. After I had that little incident with my Micron, I actually got it to work, but I guess because the nozzle was goofed up, it didn't spray that ultra fine atomized spray pattern that a Micron should, and it was almost like spattering, kind of. And I went ahead and tried to do the teeth anyway, so they don't look like they were painted with a Micron. I want to do them over, so lo and behold, I have this here. Another picture that's just of her teeth, because I already started painting her lips. I don't want to. I want to redden these lips a little bit, make them darker. I build up in layers. They're too orange for me, for my personal preference. I don't want to duplicate the lips in the photograph. I want red lips. So I don't want to get white overspray if I go to redo her teeth. So here we go, is a picture of her with just her teeth stenciled out that I could put over as a mask, and I could fix up her teeth. I did this portrait in that same fashion. I just use it so I could know where her cheek is, and this is an important part. You don't want this stenciled, or else it's not going to look proper. But there are also areas where you want a sharp shadow or a contrast, like her shoulder down here. So it's nice to have the template, but this line goes from sharp and fades. So that you want to do all that by hand. You don't want to do that stenciled. And of course you could use the stencils if you goof up the earring and you want to do the earring a little bit better. You could just stencil where that goes. I like this picture. I got this picture from the forum. They did a funny thing calling all ferrets, and I didn't see it for like 5 days. But this was a picture. I think some guy, Andre or somebody, downloaded this picture. So it was this one and another one without her smiling. But the one without her smiling, she had her hand in her hair, and her hair was all wild and crazy. So I'm not too fond of doing that. Plus, I guess doing teeth, teeth are hard to do. Drawing or painting with an airbrush, they should be easy. Because, like you hear on many different airbrushing videos, yeah, you can control your intensity of paint level, your level of intensity, with pulling back on the airbrush or adding transparency. This is what I meant by overspray. I was still goofing around with the Marilyn picture, and you can see I got overspray all over her lips. I kind of actually don't mind the overspray on this because it kind of like gives it a soft look. But that's my first attempt. I think my second attempt at a black and white. I tried a black and white recently. I don't know if I like black and whites too much. You can't tell in a picture, but the curls in her hair aren't right. I don't know. It's so much easier. This is ETAC. A quick shot with the Windex and wipe it down with some clean paper towels, and it comes right off, and I could start the whole portrait over and get to this point again in an hour instead of repairing goof ups. I'm not too happy about the shading in her shoulder here. Whatever. It looks alright on camera, but when you look at it up front, for real, it doesn't really look that great. So with all that said, I'm going to go ahead. Another quick thing, I listened to one person that commented on this picture, and they said something about the cheeks not high enough or something like that, so, or too high or too low. And I don't know if it was the shading or what, but I went over my artwork with some lighter color, and now this whole cheekbone doesn't really match the nose or these highlights. So, and I'm also noticing that I have I don't know if I could get in on this, right there, there's a blemish, and then there's another one here on the cheek. So I'm going to probably go over this whole thing with another wash of a lighter color. I'm not starting this portrait over, sorry. I'll darken it. You know what? In the summertime, I go out in the sun. I'm a white guy, and in the summertime, I look like an Indian. I have a lot of American Indian blood in my background. So in the summertime, in the sun, I get very dark. So as far as I'm concerned, if she gets darker, I can say it's a portrait of her in the summertime in a dark room. But anyway, that's my pictures and how I do what I do. Alright, thanks for checking it out.